The rare traits of those who grew up in the 90s reveal a mind shaped by a historical transition that will never happen again, the bridge between the tactile world and the digital world. Do you remember what it was like to leave the house without telling anyone and just disappear for hours? Do you remember the physical sensation of ringing a friend's doorbell without knowing if they were even home, or setting a time to meet at a park and having to trust blindly that the other person would show up at the scheduled time? To Gen Z, that sounds like pure anxiety. To those who lived through the 90s, that was freedom. These people carry a unique mindset. They are the last humans to have had a fully offline childhood and a fully online adulthood. This duality created a rare competency, comfort with unavailability. Today, social expectations demand an immediate response. If you don't reply on WhatsApp within 10 minutes, people think you've died or are mad at them. But those who grew up in the 90s have the muscle memory of a time when not being available was the default. Leaving the house meant being unreachable, and that was okay. This generation knows intuitively how to draw a healthy boundary between public time and private time, something digital natives are desperately struggling to learn in therapy. Furthermore, they possess a sense of off-the-leash independence. Without GPS trackers or cell phones to call mom for every little problem, the 90s kid was an explorer of territories. They had to resolve conflicts on the street, negotiate the rules of a game without adult referees, and find their way back home before the streetlights came on. This fostered a raw autonomy, the ability to figure things out without having Google in your pocket. They know that if they get lost, they can ask a stranger for directions or read a paper map. They developed a confidence in their own ability to navigate the chaos of the real world, a skill that modern hyperconnectivity has, ironically, atrophied in subsequent generations. Another fascinating trait is the robustness of their social planning skills. Think about the logistical complexity of planning a trip to the movies in 1995. You would call your friend's house, hoping the line wasn't busy or that their dad wouldn't answer sounding grumpy. You'd agree, Saturday, 3 p.m. in front of the box office. And that was it. There was no, "I'm on my way," "running 5 minutes late," or "send me your location." Once the plan was made, the commitment became a pact of honor. Punctuality wasn't just politeness, it was a necessity. If you were late, your friend might leave and you'd have no way to find them. This dynamic forged a generation that values their word and physical presence. They understand that human connection requires prior effort and mutual trust. Showing up at someone's house unannounced was the social media of the time. Accepting uncertainty, they might not even be home, was part of the game, creating a tolerance for frustration that is rare today. Alongside this, there is analog resilience and digital adaptability. This is the hybrid generation. They know how to navigate a 5-pound Yellow Pages book and how to set up a brand new smartphone. They lived through the transition from vinyl to CD, CD to MP3, and MP3 to streaming. They learned patience. Rewinding a VHS tape before returning it to the video store was a ritual of respect. Waiting for a song to play on the radio to record it onto a cassette tape required hunter-like focus. Today, this patience translates into a more balanced relationship with technology. They use technology, but they don't allow it to completely dominate them because they remember how life worked perfectly well without it. They know that if the internet goes down, it's not the end of the world. They know what to do with empty hands. This memory of a human rhythm serves as an anchor of sanity in a world artificially accelerated by algorithms. One of the losses most lamented by modern psychologists is the extinction of boredom. And those who grew up in the 90s were the last generation to experience an appreciation for creative boredom in its purest form. Without 24/7 internet, without infinite streaming, without an endless scrolling feed, boredom was a daily and inevitable occurrence. And what happened in that void? Magic. The brain, desperate for stimulation, was forced to invent. Kids would create complex games with absurd rules, draw their own comic books, take apart old radios, or simply lie down imagining scenarios. This hollow time was the womb of creativity for many of today's adults. They learned that entertainment isn't something you passively consume, it's something you actively generate. This ability to figure it out mentally makes them adults who are less dependent on constant external stimuli. They can stand in line at the bank without immediately pulling out their phones. They can have original ideas because their brains still know how to access default mode, the default mode network, without digital interference. This connects to their connection to the local community. Since the virtual world didn't exist or was dial-up and expensive, life happened within a 1-mile radius of the house. The video store, the bakery, the park, the local mall. There was a sense of geographical belonging. You knew your neighbors not by choice, but by osmosis. Interactions were uncurated and spontaneous. You were forced to deal with the annoying kid on the block and the grumpy newsstand owner. This developed social skills in negotiation and tolerance. Today, we can block anyone who displeases us with a single click. In the 90s, you had to learn how to coexist. This exposure to real, not algorithmic diversity created adults with a more robust understanding of human nature. They value collaboration and face-to-face connection because they know that community is built through physical presence, not virtual followers. Perhaps the most precious trait of this generation is the authenticity they developed without social media. Growing up in the 90s meant living your adolescence without a global audience. Your mistakes, your bad haircuts, your tacky clothes, and your blunders were restricted to your circle of friends and eventually forgotten. There was no digital cancel culture, nor an eternal record of your embarrassment on the internet. This provided a safe space for identity experimentation. You could try being goth, then grunge, then a skater without it being permanently etched into a profile. The freedom to mess up without being broadcast live created adults who are less neurotic about their self-image. They didn't grow up with the pressure to showcase a perfect life online. They didn't measure their self-worth by likes. Social comparison existed, like who had the trendiest sneakers, but it was local and limited, not global and infinite like it is today. This allowed for the development of a more solid internal sense of identity. They know who they are when no one is watching. They value moments that aren't photographed. For them, going to a concert and not filming anything isn't missing the moment, it's living it to the fullest. This disconnection from the need for virtual validation is a superpower. They can have dinner without posting their meal. They can travel without posting stories. They live for themselves, not for the feed. And this raw authenticity, unfiltered and unedited, is something that the modern world, saturated with superficiality, is starting to secretly envy. Being part of this generation that grew up on the border between two worlds isn't just an exercise in sentimental nostalgia. It's about possessing a set of rare adaptive tools that are extremely valuable in today's market and in life. This generation, often called Xennials or the Oregon Trail generation, the microgeneration sandwiched between Gen X and Millennials, is functionally bilingual. They speak the native language of the analog world fluently and have learned to speak the language of the digital world with proficiency. They can act as cultural translators and bridges of stability. In the workplace, this duality offers a unique competitive advantage. While digital natives often rely on apps to manage simple tasks, those who grew up in the 90s bring a DIY or do-it-yourself ethic and the ability to solve problems offline. They know how to research using books, how to fix things with their hands, and how to navigate human bureaucracy without a YouTube tutorial. They possess the capacity for deep focus.
Because their brains were shaped in an era with fewer interruptions, they can, with effort of course, access states of prolonged concentration that are becoming increasingly rare. They don't panic when technology fails. They see a tech glitch as an inconvenience, not a total paralysis. In their personal lives, this analog wisdom is an antidote to modern anxiety. They know from first-hand experience the vital importance of unplugging to reconnect. They don't need to read scientific studies to know that too much screen time is harmful. They know it in their bones because they remember what life was like before the screen. They are the natural guardians of human rituals that are in danger of extinction. The value of a handwritten letter, the thrill of a surprise visit, or at least a voice call, and the sacred rule of not putting your phone on the table during dinner. By keeping these habits alive, they teach both younger and older generations that technology should be a servant tool, not a tyrannical master. This ability to move between the frantic pace of the digital and the organic rhythm of the analog allows them to live with one foot in each world, leveraging the efficiency of one without losing the soul of the other.
In the end, the traits of those who grew up in the 90s are a reminder that real life happens off-screen. Patience, resilience, creativity born from boredom, and direct human connection aren't things of the past, they are the skills of the future. In an increasingly artificial world, being human, with all its flaws, slow paces, and textures, is the greatest competitive advantage there is. If you are part of this generation, honor your story. Don't let digital pressure erase your analog wisdom. Teach the younger ones the value of creative boredom. Show them that it's possible to live without being watched. And every now and then, allow yourself to be that kid again, riding a bike with no destination, guided only by curiosity and the sunset. Today, we traveled back in time to reclaim the lessons of the 90s. We saw that unavailability is freedom, that boredom is creativity, and that an unfiltered life is the only real life. We've come to understand the strength of those who know how to live without Wi-Fi. If this video brought back some warm nostalgia and reminded you of who you are, leave a like. Think of it as an analog sign of approval. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. We'll keep talking about the human experience every week. And I want to hear your memories in the comments. What 90s game or habit do you miss the most? The kind that kids today just wouldn't understand. Rewinding a tape with a pen? Making a collect call? Let us know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.